An hour ago, the Volvo Ocean 65 fleet sailed past the iconic offshore landmark of Fastnet Rock, just on the southern end of the Republic of Ireland. It was light winds and it was tough going, but Dongfeng Race Team were firmly in the lead, but the pack very much together. And from here in race control in Alicante, I'm joined by Conrad Coleman, and we are going to be looking into the points, looking into the leg ahead, hearing from the sailors and finding out who is looking strong in the early stages of leg 10, the last 2 legs, and it all is going to boil down to the next few weeks here for the Volvo Ocean Race. Well, as we were saying, it's going pretty well for Dongfeng Race Team right now, but don't take my word for it. The tracker is live, and let's take a look at it right now. These are the live positions out there on the water as the fleet sail past Ireland. Sunhunkai Scallywag have lost out early on. The light winds, the tide have really held them back, and they've got a good few miles to make up on this front 6 with Dongfeng Race Team in the lead. Second place, it is the first of the Dutch boats. Bauerbecking on board Team Brunel in second. Then it's the Spanish boat Mafre in third. Fourth, Team Axonabel. And fifth place, Turn the Tide on Plastic with Vestas 11th Hour Racing right behind them. So far, so good for Charles Cordrelia and the Chinese team. And while I was talking to them just a little while ago, I had to congratulate them. It's all going very nicely so far.
Yes, so far, so good in leg 10. Not a perfect start, but after we sailed very well and did our own race, I think, and it was good. And now we are approaching a key point of the leg, passing south of Ireland with a small lead, but we have a good speed and we have a 3-4 miles ahead of the rest of the fleet, which is good, but they are very close. So I think the next 10 hours will be important.
Leaving the dock in Cardiff, you must have known how important this leg and the next leg are going to be in this edition. I wonder, was there anything that you said to your team to try and get them into the perfect mindset for this challenge?
Oh, I just thank them for all the effort all the team has done during this stopover to have a best boat ready and to have the sailor in the best condition to race. That is for the shore crew, and for the sailor, I say that we have worked so much, so hard to be there, and now it's time to realize our dream and to push the extra miles to win this race, because I think we deserve it. We have done a fantastic job. We have been working very hard since 2 years now, and we have a fantastic team spirit, and I have a fantastic team around me, and I'm sure we can do it. So it's in our hands, and we just have to be focused on all small details, because these races are quite short. So we have done before it was a quantity, now it's a quality. We need to do to take care about all details, to be just always a bit faster than the other one, and it probably will help us to win.
Charles Cordrelia, skipper of Dongfeng Race Team. Now, Conrad, he says, I think we deserve it. I think we deserve the win. But, you know, Mafre, Team Brunel, I mean, don't they deserve something as well?
Everybody deserves it, that's for sure. But what's really nice is Charles is often seen as somebody who's a little bit emotional, and sometimes that can turn into sort of darkness when things don't go right. But here, he's in the lead on the overall and out on the water, and it's just nice that he took the time to sort of share the love around a little bit and sort of give the credit where the credit's due, and that is with his team.
Now, interesting that you mentioned his emotions, because that's kind of what I want to put to you straight off the bat. If you were there in Cardiff, you'll know there was a press conference like there is on every stopover, and we get a little chance to hear from the skippers, get a little bit of an idea of how they're feeling, and I think you can read quite a bit in the body language. First of all, take a look at here. Charles Cordrelia, when asked about what he's going to do now that the racing is so close.
I think there is not really strategy. Before, maybe we play a bit too much match racing with Mafre, and now we have another boat in the game, so I think we just have to race and see what's happened. Maybe at the end of the leg, we be time to think about controlling or doing something, but the leader is very short.
A little bit of questioning their previous tactics. Maybe we've been a bit too close to Mafre. Maybe we've held together a little bit too much of a fleet. I mean, certainly in my mind, Slightly different Charles to what we've seen at the beginning. Now, contrast that with Xabi Fernandez, as always, absolutely level in his emotions when he was asked his opinion.
You know, we've done very good legs, and you know, obviously the last one wasn't that good for us. But you know, we're thinking changing not much. Of course, we have debrief and what we've done, but you know, it's different leg coming out, and I think it's better for us. And you know, we'll try to start strong and keep the whole leg pushing the whole way.
Two skippers who control their emotions very differently.
Yes, very differently. That certainly you've got the unflappable Xabi Fernandez. If it's going well, if it's going poorly, you would never know if you talk to him. We've done countless interviews with him through the highs and lows the last 9 months, and that's what you get. Always the same. He's a great champion. He's performed really well in the offshore arena, like the Volvo Ocean Race. He's done it many times before. He's also won gold medals. On the counterpoint, we've got Charles, who has obviously performed incredibly well in multiple disciplines in sailing as well, but sort of not so much afraid to let it all hang out in terms of the emotions. You know, he owns that very much. And it's sort of interesting to see such an interesting contrast between the two.
And one skipper that certainly has changed in terms of outward appearance, Bauerbecking on board Team Brunel. If you've been following the Volvo Ocean Race, you will know that now Team Brunel is a team that we can't stop talking about. They are in range of winning this edition of the Volvo Ocean Race. And at the press conference, you can just see his smile.
Pressure is on these guys. They are ahead of us, and we just have to beat them. Like what I said in Newport, that's the task. Beat the two red boats, and then we're getting closer, and we will see what's going to happen in the last leg. That will be a great finish if it's going to happen on the last leg. Maybe even in the last import, who knows?
A wry smile from Bauerbecking, and he says all we got to do is beat the two red boats. Is it that simple, though? I mean, there's a little bit more going on in terms of the overall scores.
Well, yeah, but pretty much that's what he's got to do. Remember, there's history here, folks. If you watched the last edition of the race 3 years ago, it was the last-minute charge from Team Brunel that indeed knocked Maffrey from second to third, and then finally off the podium down onto fourth. And so there's a lot riding on this, and so that's why it's so impressive to see Xabi Fernandez so level-headed, although maybe a little bit of fatigue creeping in now that they've kept the same team on the boat all the way around the world. However, when it comes to the other boats, there's a point to prove. We've got Team X Nobel that's sort of coming on song. They were a whisker away from winning the last leg into Cardiff, battling within hundreds of meters all the way to the finish line. And then we've got Vestas 11th Hour Racing that came out of the block so strongly, winning the first leg. We all know that hasn't quite been their race, but let's have a look at the overall points and sort of see how things stack up and who is going to be pushing hard to make a difference. Well, overall, we've got Dongfeng Race Team with a narrow lead of just a single solitary, pitiful point over Xabi Fernandez, skipper in the Spanish Maffrey, on 59 points. And then 2 points back, 3 from the top spot, is Team Brunel with Bauerbecking. And so it has been his big charge that has sort of really, frankly, wiped the smiles off the two at the top and given all of us and the fans something to cheer about. However, this is what the official overall leg looks like. But let's have a look at what you can do now, because we've come up with something a little bit funky. So go back to the website if you're following the race right now, and just where you'll find it over by the tracker, you can see this new potential points calculator. And so we're doing this now for you, as it's so tight at the top. We wanted to give you the ability to sort of spitball, imagine what the possible scenarios could be. So this is what it looks like out on the water and out on the podium right now. So imagine that we grab Team Brunel, that they overhaul the other boats and they end up winning into Gothenburg. This is what the scores would look like. Overall ranking, second place, overhauling Maffrey. So then it would be 65. Dongfeng Race Team would still maintain their lead overall, but again, with still a slender point, but this time to Team Brunel. But imagine things don't go quite so well for Dongfeng Race Team and they fall back behind Maffrey. We would end up with an absolutely incredible scenario where, with just 700 miles to run, it would be 3 boats tied at the top. So this is absolutely feasible just looking at the top 3 boats, but once you start getting the other strong teams like Team X Nobel and Vestas 11th Hour Racing into the mix, anything could happen.
anything could happen. Everything is lined up to happen. Certainly the sailors know that the next little while is going to be incredibly close. But, I mean, if you look at the form, I mean, they're not leading this leg at the moment, but Team Brunel have certainly been the boat that have been setting the pace. And at that press conference in Cardiff, David Witt, skipper of Sunhunkai Scallywag, certainly thought that Team Brunel were going to go all the way.
I've been running around all Cardiff trying to work out how I get 10,000 quid on Bowie to win the race. No one wants to take the bet. So in Australia, we love to have a punt.
Yeah.
The biggest yacht race in Australia is the Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race. We all have a punt on it. So I just thought maybe if someone in the room, or more importantly, maybe one of the guys in the red shirts want to take my bet for 10,000 quid that Brunel will win. If I'd spent 20 million euro of my sponsors' money, I'd want to be pretty confident I could put my own $1,000 up, wouldn't I? Anyone want to take the bet? Anyone want to back against Bowie? Charlie, you get plenty of money.
David Witt, as always, stirring the nerves of the other sailors out there on the water right now. But you can't avoid the fact that Team Brunel are very much on the charge. And when I was talking to Abby Ealer earlier, I mean, I put it to her, the boat's got to be brimming with confidence.
I wouldn't say brimming with confidence. I'd say that we've definitely found our form. I mean, we were definitely slow out of the starting blocks. Took us a long time to get in the groove. And I think the one thing that we have on our side now is momentum. We're not putting ourselves under any pressure. We know we're in good form, and we've just got to keep doing what we're doing. But there's a long way to go on this leg, and I think you know. Even today, you can see how close the boats are. So it's going to be a very tricky leg, this one. And yeah, it will be a lottery finish, that's for sure.
But a lottery finish may be, but certainly in all the miles leading up to that, on current form, you seem to be the boat to beat.
Yeah, indeed, we are. But yeah, I think it's just important not to let that dazzle us, you know, not be put off or put ourselves under unnecessary pressure. We've just got to keep doing what we're doing, only better. We've seen Dongfeng sneak through in better pressure, and she's ahead of us now by a few miles. So, and we've got Maffrey hot on our heels here, just behind us. So it's not over yet.
It's not over yet. We've got a lot more racing to go, and Team Brunel are in that hunt for that top spot with Maffrey, with Dongfeng Race Team, but do not rule out the other boats as well, each of them going for their individual slice of glory. But as we were saying, they're going to have a big effect on the scoreboard. Vestas 11th Hour Racing, they're only a little way back, but they are pushing incredibly hard. Jennemai Hansen gave us a little bit of an update on how hard they were pushing for that edge of speed.
We obviously had a good start, not that much wind, and then all of a sudden it all was like the last ones were first, and it all was a little bit of a shake the bag and see who comes out, but on the top. But right now we're still, like, we can see everybody. It's as if they're just right there. We feel fast enough, so just need to give that little extra, and then we get them, right?
Vestas pushing hard to get into that top three, and if they do, that is going to make things very interesting on the overall scoreboard. So, you know, Conrad, this leg, we knew that this leg was going to be important. We know that the next leg is going to be incredibly important. Every mile here, we can see the scoreboard go inside and out. So talk us through the route and how it's going to play out.
Yeah. Well, this is where they started, and it was off in a light wind snooze fest, although it really was super important in the overall, certainly for Sunhunkai Scallywag. That's where the wheels came off, but this is where the boats are now. They've just gone around Fastnet, and then there's a right turn and an upwind beat against the northerly breeze off the side of that ridge. So it's going to go light a little bit, but hang on, because there's this new depression coming that is going to whisk the fleet over the top of Scotland. It's going to move eastwards with them, allowing them to start heading towards Scandinavia on this fast reach that could be up to 35 to 40 knots. And then as they fire their way in across the top of Denmark, well, it's going to be a light wind, downwind finish again tactical, and any single mile that you can gain in the earlier part of that sleigh ride is going to pay double into another light wind finish.
And we are going to be with you every day of this leg. We're going to be bringing you all the updates, all the moves that seem to be paying off. And if you were watching us this morning about an hour and a half ago, you'll know that we've got our helicopter following the fleet. Now, whenever they get close enough to land, passing one of the headlands, whenever the weather's good enough, we're going to send the helicopter up, and our camera crews are going to be bringing you the race as it unfolds from that aerial position. We will broadcast that live from race control here in Alicante. Hopefully, we'll be able to speak to some of the sailors as well. And certainly, we'll be offering our opinions, and you should be offering us yours as well. Join us for these last two legs. They are going to be absolutely crucial. We're going to be back tomorrow. Quick fix in the morning, 1300 UTC. We've got another daily show, but we're going to leave you today with the sailors' thoughts about leg 10, something that will absolutely have a huge impact on the overall scoreboard.
The next leg is a complex one.
Next leg is going to be from
Cardiff to Gothenburg.
It's going to be very intense.
It's a really short distance, but it's still a number of days.
a lot of tactical tidal and current situations.
You know, it's a lot of corners, a lot of currents, wind.
It will be a very interesting leg. First, a small reaching going to Fastnet, leaving island on the south of Shetland.
A pretty treacherous place, you know, just to put it in perspective. Cape Horn's at 55 south and the Shetlands are at 63 north. And when you're up there, it's cold.
Finishing in Gothenburg with all the post effect to manage. Something we like.
These short legs, so 4, 5, 6, 7 days leg are harder, much harder than the long ones, where you have to go into the world system and, you know, a little bit of a routine. Not much sleep coming for sure. I'm sure it's going to be boots on the whole way.
So I think everyone's expecting to go off watch probably in their kit. I don't think many people will be taking their shoes or boots off.
You have to be strong and think clearly, but you know, we have to push a lot and we will for sure.